and we are live. Let's see if let me hook this up, but I think it's gonna work. Always does. Let me turn the volume down. Yes, boom out. Mm, And we are live. Okay, I got the monitoring here. We're good to go. Anyway, I just get this little start before everybody logs in, gets some notifications and whatever else. And let me turn on this chat here as well. And let me log into a private window, which I will need. Today is going to be about algorithms. And I've been involved with algorithms for a long time. And I was actually did the math yesterday because I wasn't sure what to write. And I was like, I did start in 2006. So that makes me a long time user of algorithms. And yeah, I've seen the evolution. I read a lot of stuff about how the algorithm has changed for the search engines. And yeah, it's been quite an interesting journey to watch the Google algorithm grow, and it's always a race. I mean, the algorithms are basically there to make the search fair, and us people involved in SEO, we always try to break the algorithm, just to crack it, just to go around it, find a workaround, find a quick way to get in, because nobody wants to wait 3 to 6 months for their website to be indexed. But hey, that's what it is. That's the game you got to play. It's a long-term game. Logging into an account is just add your address, add this, add that. And now I still got to go to studio here because later I want to get into our algorithm on YouTube, which I want to compare to LinkedIn. And what do we have? Go to studios on the bottom. Yes, here we go. Okay, good. Hopefully we'll get to that, and I'll show you. I just don't want to hear anything. So, yep, no, it's not playing, so it's good. Okay, let me get back to the studio here, if I can. Here I am. Okay, so we're back. Yeah, so is it 3 minutes on? So let's talk about algorithms. So first, in 2006, YouTube has started YouTube and Google, same thing, but Google has started to search and rank and basically sell their products. And initially, also in 2000, I think it was a 5 or 6, they launched the PPC campaigns, which I mentioned at the webinars all the time. But it was fun to watch because their prices have surged from 1 penny a click to now dollars and tens of dollars, and sometimes even more. But that's overtaken by the big corps. So PPC still works 18 years later, but in a completely different way. And I don't want to get involved in that. But yeah, it's been a struggle. And originally there was a lot of emphasis on keywords. So because Google is based on keywords, every search is based on a query. So you enter something in, you get results. Well, how can Google differentiate information you need from information that's useless? Well, that's the whole point, is what's most relevant to your search, because Google wants, and I'm going to go back to this all the time, is Google wants just anything. I mean, any one of the algorithms just wants screen time. They want you to be coming back. They want return customers. Later on, it's developed not only into coming back and using it for search, it's developed into these social media platforms that are their only point is to increase screen time. Why? Screen time equals revenue. There's algorithms for security. There's algorithms for political bias. We all know that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just getting into today. I just want to talk about how to be seen, how to get your message out, not about politics, not about security, keywords and notifications and warnings and bans and stuff. I mean, we'll touch up on bans a little bit, but I'm not that much. I'm not really worried about bans. I'm worried about growth, how to get more traffic to your website, and how to get more engagement in on whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, or here on LinkedIn. And yeah, it's been an 18-year struggle. I've been analyzing them always in very great details. I'm an analyst by nature, so that's my biggest thing, is being an analyst. And so algorithms are fun for me. I have fun with them. So first, we started back with Google, which was the algorithm for keywords. Okay, so if the website has a keyword, it's probably relevant, and it was new. It was very few websites, and so many websites used to do keyword stuffing. If you put, if you look for the keyword, I was working in translation, so it's easiest for me to use translation as an example. So translation, and there was people that did a side panel, and they put, there was some text, welcome to my website, blah blah blah, and the right panel I just said translation, 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 to emphasize that, because then Google added, let's look at if it's in the heading. So put an H1 tag and just put H1 tags, or H2 is translation, translation, translation. There's 27 different translations in the right page, the words, and then Google says, well, the translation appears there a lot, let's push it forward. But people were cheating the algorithm. They're just putting a lot of keywords, and then that's how they beat the algorithm to show up at the top of the search results. And so Google said, no, we have to now make it better. So they started entering backlinks, and so we used to actually we were developing also a backlinks bar, which was supposed to increase your PR, which was a PageRank. So that was good. I mean, it worked. You put a bunch of you put a bottom. It's not invasive like translation, translation, translation. So there was a bottom, almost like a footer banner, little strip that had like 5 or 6 different websites, and those connected to you connected to them, and that's how you collected backlinks. People actually had some high PR ranking sites, and they were selling that to artificially increase the PageRank quality, authority of websites. And so they were, and it was the banner. I may go in and out. I guess it's the internet connection here. It's been a little bit of a bother, but anyway. So yeah, it was the first. It was the keywords. Then it was the backlinks. So that lasted until about, I don't know, I think 2010 and stuff. And then at that time, Google said, let's make the quality, let's make high quality backlinks count. And so there was high quality authority sites. They were looking at the volume, size, text, but they knew always that they want to satisfy the people's needs. And so then around, I think it was the early 2010s, that they came out with the text analysis. At the time, I kind of got away from search results just for this for the SEO content and stuff, because I stopped doing the translations and I started doing more for fun than anything else, because I was a father always as a priority. So I kind of stopped doing web developments and stuff for a while. I mean, I did it. I was involved in it, but I did it for my own project, which was tickbet.com. And for that one, I started doing Facebook groups, because it was a big thing. I needed the greatest reach, giving sports tips. Again, my analytic my analytic background and nature. And I was working with a top radio station also as an interpreter for their marketing trainings and services and whatever they were providing. So it was in English to Czech, and so I was working with them, and they were involved with Facebook algorithms, and we did a lot of trainings, and I applied a lot of that to the TickBet project. And what happened was with TickBet, and with Facebook, the combination of the two, I think 2012, 13, 14, I was able to drive traffic from a Facebook group to my website, and at the peak, we were getting about 300 to 400 hits to the website every day. So it was, we got close to 10,000 a month, but never passed that. I think the highest was 8,000 and something, because you don't always have good betting tips, and it fluctuates. But I did use the Facebook algorithm. I was able to use it to grow my groups, to grow my TickBet business page, and yeah, using the strategies from the radio station, they stuff. And back then, even people complaining now that reach is going down. Well, again, what's the revenue for social media? Well, it's free. So what's the revenue? Revenue is ads. You are the product. And all they care about is you giving them money or you spending a lot of time, because when they put the advertisements on there, the ads will pay, but you have to spend some time on that to get the advertisements to be effective. So they choke the impressions, Facebook did back then. So the only way to get around the impressions, because you couldn't just post on a business page anymore at the time when I really got going with TickBet. So I had to go bypass the algorithm through the group. I did some contests, some prizes and stuff like that in the Facebook group. And the group kept going, and I picked up the group. I didn't start it from zero, although I did start 6 other groups from zero. But this one already was going, had some good fan base, and I developed it. And I developed over it took me a couple of years though, but I developed it into a group of almost 10,000 people, and of that, it was like 75% were active every month. So 75 to 80% engagement. And we're back again, because I'm on the other network here, which does that. Let me try to switch. Well, I don't know. I don't want to be switching. Third one, and we're still here. So hopefully we didn't get lost. I switched to the other network. Let's see if that works better. Anyway, so I did build the group to 2,000. It's still alive today. I don't pay attention to it because I'm not on Facebook anymore. But even back then with the radio, they said, their business page, and this is why I knew I had to go through the groups, is because their business page was dying, and for no reason whatsoever. I mean, they were doing still the same things. They were getting engagement with their listeners, but all of a sudden it went from like 12% impressions or reach to down to I think it was like 4%. So like if they had 100,000 followers on their Facebook business page, radio page, and they made a post, without the engagement, they were getting only, was it 4%? So it's 4,000 impressions. But whereas before the Facebook choked the impressions of the algorithm, it was like 12,000, but every post. So that's a big drop. And also they have their advertisements and products and whatever else. So excuse me, but they had their issues with that. And so, that's when we first realized how the algorithm works. That's why I first, one was the search algorithm. The next one is the social media. So I learned the social media algorithms back there. And that's why they started asking people to, engage on our posts. And if you engage and follow and stuff, you will get to see more of them. And it's always a struggle, But again, the social media, they want money. So you either have to do it through engagement or you have to do it through paid advertisement. Engagement takes a lot of time. So some of them don't have the money. Some of them don't have the time. So you have to balance it. But, yeah, as far as the Facebook, it's developed over the years. Now it's different. Again, I don't use it that much because I'm like, Facebook is just not my thing. It's completely different than LinkedIn, the mindset and everything else. But it worked. It worked for the betting website, and uh, I was able to get some engagement, and also when you have a group of 10,000 people commenting on your posts and commenting and interacting with each other, being an administrator of that group, it's quite a challenge, especially among gamblers, because the number one rule of gambling is you only show your winnings, you don't show losings. And if you see somebody having a success rate, which I did have about 60 to 70%, you get a lot of hate because gamblers, when they lose and you win, they hate it and they're going to let you have it. And Facebook is the platform to get the hate. And so that's where I kind of toughened up on social media. It was that period of time. And I was like, yeah, just don't care anymore. It's detached. It's there. You get a lot of I call it Facebook heroes that go attacking you and stuff, and it's just not worth it. And the project had a lot of other issues because of countries' legal code changed and stuff. So I could never really take TickBet as far as I wanted to. I still own the website. It still operates. We still do a lot of testing on it because it's got about 3,000 pages. And eventually we may figure out a way to monetize it, but it costs them $12 a year, so 13 now, something like that. So I keep it alive. And the Facebook group is still alive. I look into it every once in a while. Of course, the engagement when I'm not there drops a lot. I do have still hundreds of people asking me to join. So I'm like kind of try to click through it sometimes, but it's tough. And time-wise, it's tough because it's hard to satisfy the algorithm to stay on topic on like 4 different platforms. But anyway, so went back to New York in 2017 from Czech Republic, and then COVID hit, and I started doing. I started doing that. I was already involved. I mean, Instagram I started like 2011, but again, it was just for fun for my friends and for my family and for my son and his hockey. So that one I started way back when, Instagram, but only in like 2017 and 18, I really started getting involved in like trying to get engagement and trying to grow, because that over like 7 years, I just posted personal stuff, fun stuff, and I was getting about, I don't know, 5 to 12 likes on Instagram. I only had like, I think 200 or 300 followers that followed me, so it was 0 engagement. And then I started, then I said, you know what, let me develop Instagram. Let me become an because I've had it for a while. It's already got a good portfolio of stuff. And so let's go and let's take a look at how Instagram works. And let's try to build it, because I always, I got the SEO stuff down and I keep on top of that. I got which is the search algorithms. I got the Facebook down. I know how that works. And if I want to get involved in that, I can develop it. But it's, again, way different than it was, but you got to stay on top of these things. So I do. And then I was like, well, you know what? I have 1,000 followers on Facebook. I have a group of 10,000 people. I was able to get some pages ranked, indexed, and I was able to get Globemer.com into a first position. I actually owned the keyword instant estate. So in 2018, I think if you put an instant estate, Globemer company just showed up and like the whole profile. So basically I owned instant estate keyword. So if anybody wanted to look that up, it was like, boom, this is the company that will do it in all the United States. So that was pretty good. I think that was pretty good. I was pretty proud of myself. And so now it was Instagram time. So what do you do on Instagram? Well, I try to become an influencer, because you have to have at least 1,000 followers. So that's not easy. And this is how now these things have been getting harder and harder. So especially with AI, I mean, especially with Google implementing their AI language analysis, which everybody learned about AI in 2000 and was it 23 now, 2022, end of 22 is when launched. When Sam Altman launched the Open ChatGPT, OpenAI, officially to the world. But Google's been using that technology since like 2012 or 13. It's just not been for public use. It's just been to use analyzing websites and stuff like that, texts and blog posts. And so now it's time for Instagram. And what do? Well, you post a picture, you try to see what it is, use some hashtags, and you have to engage. And if you want to engage, you have to follow other people, then unfollow them. Then you have to give them likes, and you have to do it every single day. But I did grow from 400 to about 300, something like that, to about 1,200 or 1,500, maybe even at the top peak. And then when you stop using it, you die. Basically, the account dies and it drops again. So, but to get to that number, I was just spent 10 minutes every hour. So was that 1,200? So like 3 to 4 hours I spent on Instagram a day trying to build it up. I did build it up in a matter of months from like a couple of hundred to the 1,500. And I was able to get the likes from like 12 to I think the most my post ever got was 255 likes. There's a strategy. You got to spend the time, put in the time, and beat the algorithm by investing the time. And there's no way you get around it. And I did find some strategies. I was involved in some pods that was invited to. It was like, oh yeah, you just we're going to do this, and then everybody comments and they throw you out of that, so you don't cycle for a long time. So I did that about 2 or 3 cycles. That helped some. It was a good strategy, but of course it's illegal on the social media platforms, which I learned later, and I was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be doing that. I mean, it's not organic, and I'm not one to just buy likes. I'm not one to fake inflate things. And I now see a lot of people saying how I went from 0 to 10,000 followers on LinkedIn in 3 months. Good for you. Good for you. You're collecting numbers and you're not really getting anything else. And just this morning, I saw somebody on LinkedIn said, you know what? I had a 40,000 followers and I have 20,000 basically overnight. I'm like, well, that's strange. That's too much. It's too much of a drop. No, you're collecting ghost accounts, so that's what happens. You don't accept every invite. You don't go to chasing everybody's accounts, and you focus on where you need to be. But anyway, back to Instagram before I'm getting too far ahead of myself here. But yeah, but it is related to Instagram because it works the same way, and that's my whole point too. Is algorithms, they just want to increase your screen time, and then they want engagement. They want you to be on there, and then they want your involvement and your time. So and there's legal and illegal practices. But I was able to get this, and I'm looking at all these. With only 1,500 followers, I was getting 255 likes. And I'm looking at all these businesses we're talking to now here in Bloomington, and I'm like, you have 4,000 followers and you have, let's say, 5 likes on your account. It's just, what's the point? Don't do it. Like anything you put in, anytime, even 10 minutes a day, you just put a post up there. If nobody sees it, don't do it because you're just not doing anything. You're just wasting your time. You're throwing your time out the window. So back in so then I decided because when I got to have the 200 likes, it was around 200 pretty regularly on Instagram. I started getting offers of, oh yeah, you could sell these sunglasses for us, and yeah, you get a pair for free. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing, 4 hours a day to get a free pair of sunglasses. No, I don't think so. And sometimes you get into sometimes you. It takes a lot of time, and to build it naturally without the things, without any kind of pods and fake fast growth, it will take you time. And now, if you consider that you take that naturally, organically to get to 60,000, 50,000 followers, and you're gonna get $500 a month or $1,000 a month sponsorship, Instagram's just not worth it. I mean, not for my niche anyway. I mean, for either whether it was life insurance or whether it was now NC Web Dev Digital Marketing, it's just Instagram is not the platform. For restaurants, for clothing, apparel, and stuff, it definitely is a platform because it's visual. There's not much in digital marketing that's visual other than just the platforms themselves. But yeah, so that's where Instagram died for me. I was like, you know what? Let me look for something else. Let me switch over into digital marketing because have, it was now 2 years, so it was 16 years, 15, 16 years of good experience working online. And what I'm sharing today is just, time wise collected over time. So, you know, I was like, well, let me sell my experiences. What I'm doing right now is why I can do this webinar, because I have this, close to 2 decades of experience. And so, yeah, I got into, I dropped Instagram. I started getting bored with it. I was like, I'm never going to make any money. It's fun. I like cooking. I like food. So I got a food Instagram. Obviously, look at me. I mean, what else would I be loving other than sports, soccer, football, whatever? I call it football still. But for the American audience, it's soccer. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Was also with Instagram was I'm looking for clients in the U.S., but Instagram is very global and it's kind of not easy to focus, and also dealing long distance, it's pretty bad. But for local restaurants, it's one of the best things you can do, because you could just have people follow you from regions, because you could filter it, who you're going to follow, who you look for, who you decide to follow and like. And yeah, people on Instagram will return the favor. Why? Because Instagram has a lot of users, and a lot of engagement, because I think it's like 90% of LinkedIn monthly users are actually also contributors, creators. That means they engage. So it's kind of fast and quick to build that from 400 to 1,000, 1,500, depending on how focused you are on it. You could build that pretty quickly. And Instagram will love you for it. They do have excellent statistics. They will show your account. They will start promoting it more. I think one of my images was actually at the time showing up for I think goulash or something, and it was among the I forget which one it was, but anyway, it was showing among the top 20 on Instagram. I think it was the 15th or something like that. If you use that hashtag, I was like one of the 15. Well, you get that screen of, like, I don't know what, 25, 35, whatever it is, 50. I forget now what the number is of the top images for that particular food. So I made the top 20 list for that one particular food. But anyway, so anything I do, I'm trying to get it to be high quality. So that was my Instagram experience. And when I saw that you can't monetize Instagram in my field, because again, every platform is for something else. I was like, let me talk to my team that's been doing websites with me for all that time, and also to digital marketing and analysis. And I'm like, what should we do? And they were like, you should really get into LinkedIn, because it works. It's the networking platform and blah blah blah. So that's how I got into LinkedIn in 2022, in the summer of 2022. So, okay, start a website, NC Web Dev, blah, 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 easy. I'll write some posts, boom, easy. And then let's get the clients. And the big problem is offline, online. So I was going to offline networking events, and that didn't work, because many businesses, if they're offline, they're really offline. They're not really utilizing digital marketing. So when you start talking about your 15-year experience to a crowd of nobody, people that have zero experience, it's kind of hard. It's people don't understand what you're talking about. So the best clients is always the one that are those that understand that digital marketing is important, and digital marketing is something that can help them. So that was a long experience as well. So now I started cracking the LinkedIn algorithm, sending out the invites, and then trying to get connection requests and stuff. And yeah, I started in summer 22 with like 150 connections, and I've developed it to over 1,000. And then what happened? I was like, but you know what? The problem is I'm sending out connections, and I'm not getting any responses, like engagement on the post that I'm doing. So I stopped posting. I only grew my network, because if you want to be counted, and if you want to have any kind of respect, I always say, don't follow the numbers, but there's always two sides to every coin. There's two sides to every story. So how to get into the LinkedIn algorithm, how to beat that? Well, it's very easy. You just need to have the numbers. The vanity metrics matter because when you have 200 followers, you don't get any respect. You're a brand new account, and I didn't really matter in 2022. So I was sending out connection requests, and I was doing posting. Actually, 3 times a week I did posting, and in between that, I was a father, hockey father, so single, and so I had to drive around and blah blah blah. So it was all sorts of time involvement. So I was like, but why am I doing all these posts? Why am I wasting time if all I need is a connection to make connections, connections, connections? So I did make the connections. Took me a while because I was getting at the beginning before I got 500 plus on the profile. I was getting like a 15%, success acceptance rate, and then when I hopped over 500 followers on LinkedIn, I was getting up to 20, 25. Today, my connection success rate, when I have 2,400 something, but the closer I got to 2,000, the more up it went. Now the success rate is more like 60%, 70% if I send out a connection request. And again, comparing to Instagram, the vanity numbers on Instagram the metrics were going so much faster. But also I had that globally because I didn't care. It was just a picture of food. Whereas on LinkedIn, I try to focus on the U.S. That's where I want to sell my product. I'm in the U.S. and that's where I want to build my network. And so, and of course, the LinkedIn landscape, to use ChatGPT terminology, is filled with a lot of people from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. I'm like, I'm not really interested to network over there. I need to network over here. So I don't accept connection requests that much from the lands far, far away. Nothing wrong with people there, but just I'm building a network in the US. So sorry, that's my priority. And, and especially if it says, any country, but Bangladesh, 5 followers. And I'm like, no, I'm not accepting that. And that person follows me. More than likely, I will see that person disappear in a couple of months from my follow list, which I don't even look into, like who follows me. But connections, you only have a limit of 30,000. You have the LinkedIn algorithm only allows you to send about 100 connection requests a week. So that ties back into the 15%. So you can only grow by 15 people a week. If you get to 25%, that's 100 people a month you can grow by connections, not followers, of course. But I was not getting any followers. Why? Well, because all those accounts that I was just reaching out to blindly were dead accounts, were people that are not creators. Whereas in Instagram, you have 90% creators. LinkedIn only has 1% creators. So the hardest thing on LinkedIn and why the growth is so sort of slow, unless you pay for it or you have you're in paid membership groups that will guarantee your growth. But then do you get the engagement? So if it's organic, you got to look for that 1%. You got to look for the 1% of people that post and then like and engage their content. Same as on Instagram, except you're only dealing with 1% of people. And instead of because you do a search of people and connections, and second level connections, you're not going to find that many people that actually do post. And when I was looking through the group of 1,000 people, and I was like, let me see. All right, let's do this engagement thing. Then I went through the 1,000 people, and I was like, I only have like 2-3 people that are really posting. So the wall was boring, and there was nobody to comment on other than like old, outdated, boring posts of articles and off-topic things, random, whatever. And it's like the biggest thing you want to stay in is your niche. And if you only have people posting the news and politics, and you're trying to sell digital marketing, you're not really, you don't have much of a shot. So then I changed. And again, as my son went to college, it was a transition year for us. And then we also, at the time, we started doing YouTube, which is another one I want to get into probably right after this. what else, but I want to show some of the stuff. I'm going to compare that to LinkedIn. So maybe I should have started with YouTube, but LinkedIn is here we are. So I'm talking about the basics here. And so, how do you get the growth? You get the growth. How do you break the LinkedIn code? And I said this many times: is the algorithm, and you really don't break it. The algorithm. The number one thing about all algorithms is even the creators don't know how they work. That's the funny thing about it. So, like, I'm not talking about creators on LinkedIn. I'm talking about creators, the programmers, the coders. They don't know how it works because every coder just works on a specific side of the algorithm, and the algorithm has, let's say, 100,000 variables. You have 100,000 variables that are working. There's no programmer that knows this off top of their head, what each one of them does and what impact it is. There is some manual someplace where you look into it, you'll see it and you'll find it and you can estimate it. But even if the owners of LinkedIn really don't know how their algorithm fully works, how is any creator on LinkedIn, how will they know better? So then at the end of last year, I said, you know what, I got to build this differently. And that's what I started. And that's why I said it started with like 1,600 people in the network. And now I have, I got the next 1,000 now. I got in a matter of 3 months. And so, and then again, as I got closer to now 2,400, I slowed down some. I was like, again, it's not a problem to collect the people because I could, the connections, because I could send out the requests now. And because of the number of followers and connections I have, it's easier. You get more respect. So vanity metrics don't matter, but they do. That's what I always say is like, if you have 100,000 followers or 50, it really doesn't matter. I think the sweet spot, some people say about 5,000. I mean, I know with 2,000 you get more respect, but to have successful business growth, I think it's 10,000. That's the goal that I set for myself, is to get 10,000 connections before the end of this year. And first I was wondering how quickly I can get it, but then I was like, you know what? You can't beat the algorithm. So I'm going to reach out and I'm going to start doing personal meetings. And now I have, that's how I get these webinars. And today I'm doing one by myself, but next week we're going to do one with Catherine Castillo. And those are the connections that matter. And that's the way to beat the algorithms, is you engage with people and you go offline and you talk to them. And I started posting every single day something. And now that I'm connecting to people, it's easier to get the engagement. And and then this gets me to the next topic now, because of the algorithm, or next area that everybody talks about. The first thing is you beat the algorithm by same way like you would a website. Again, it's the same thing as in search. Is if you're going to post low quality content, that's number one. But if you're going to post if you're going to start talking about let's say first you have your profile, and then you have your services and your offer these services, hashtags that tie to you and stuff. And then you're going to talk about, let's say I do digital marketing and I'm going to start posting about police work in New York City, or homeless problem in Chicago or San Francisco, or Miami crime issues, and colleges. I'm going to post about dogs, and I'm going to cute little doggy here. Look, and look, this funny video and funny memes. You may get that immediate engagement, but the algorithm is not going to like it. Why? Because it's just like a website. It's got to be tied into what you're doing. So keep it consistent. That's the consistencies. A is showing up as much as possible. B is being consistent in your topics. And again, there's just again two sides. And one thing is staying on topic, and the other one is staying on one topic. Because I see some profiles, but then they have 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers. Don't get me wrong. but they're posting every one of their posts is on one keyword. And once you have once you follow that account and there's 25 different posts and everyone has the same keyword, that gets, yes, you become a professional, you kind of sort of own that, but it's kind of like building a website. Do you really want you can't have on a website, again, back to the algorithms and searches, is you can't have 3 different articles on the same keyword. Because once you use that keyword, that's it, you're done. On digital profiles of social media, it's a little different. You can own that hashtag and you can involve it in that, but don't use the same one topic. Don't use the same phrase, because and I know the biggest one that I remember is on when everybody talks about it, but everybody approaches it differently. But if you people talk about burnout, and if you're going to use burnout in every single one of your posts, your audience gets tired. And the algorithm's not going to like you either, because you just then become boring, because it knows that people will click and say, oh yeah, well, they'll do this. But then also the algorithm watches the time you spend reading that post. And if people don't read your post because it's the same old story, and they'll just give the like and engage, that's not going to help you that much either. It helps. Everything helps. So it's all growth. And I can't teach you here how to build to 100,000, because I'm not even sure if I want to get that far. But I did, like I said the goal for 10,000. However, the algorithm to like, and it doesn't care what you think. And there's no way to beat it, because it will do what it wants. And I'm saying right now, and I know this because all the algorithms are the same. Like, for example, on Instagram, if you have a pizzeria and you're going to be posting pictures of only pizzas, you're not going to get much exposure. Why? Well, because pizza is the number one image shared on Facebook, on Instagram. So, number one food picture. I'm not sure if there's anything else, but as far as food, pizza is the number one. So if you're going to be posting pizzas, you have a lot of competition. So if you're going to talk about burnout, you got a lot of competition, and you need a good mix and match. And so if a pizzeria is there, well, you're going to have to post some pasta pictures. You're going to have to also get personal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all the basics. But with LinkedIn, stay on topic. So I try to stay within digital marketing. And what I do is I change it up. I do websites a lot because that's our top product, but I also do, the LinkedIn growth experience, personal stuff, and I tie it into digital marketing. So, don't be boring, because the algorithm's not going to like you. And a lot of times you're going to go back and say, well, this post did really well. Well, why did it do really well? Was it because of the topic, or was it because you selected the topic? Because you look at the algorithm and the topic and the time, and you look at the number of people that are using the messages. I gotta shut this off into do not disturb. Hold on a second. How do I get into do not disturb here? It was up here. I changed it. Here we go. Do not disturb. No more messages. So again, you put up the topics and you get into you throw it out on LinkedIn. There's only 1% creators that are on LinkedIn. So if you think let's say in the US, I think there's 500 million or something like that off the top of my head. Don't quote me on these things, but there is a few 100 million users on LinkedIn in the US, and only 1% post. So your advantage is always the fact that there is a very low, creator count, 1%. But out of 500 million, 10% is 50 million, so it's still 5 million people. And let's say 100,000 people are in the, and I'm going to use this again, in the burnout category. And if at 8 a.m. your post is the only one out of the 100,000, what is the algorithm going to do? Well, it's going to take your post and it's going to show it to everybody. Why? Because it wants screen time and it does not have that topic covered. And so your post will do really well. And then you're going to be like, well, no, my burnout post did really good. This is something that I'm really going to be using every time. And I got to post it at 8 a.m. because that was the best time. But how do you know? You don't. Nobody knows. None of the creators here know. Because if that was your only, if you were lucky enough to be the only one to post at the time, that's why you got the impressions and engagement. It was not because you did something really good. And then the next time you do the same thing and you get only, half the impressions or 1/3 of the impressions. Well, because maybe at the same time somebody picked up on that and they said, oh, well, we'll do it at the same time as well. So great. So you do the same thing. Now all of a sudden you get less, but the other people copy you and they maybe the algorithm says, well, their post is better. So they'll show their post. They're not going to care about yours. Doesn't mean the algorithm hates you. If you just have more competition, you got to be better than the competition. Can you be better than everybody else? No, there's always somebody better than you. So it's just, you can't be, so people say, well, the best time to post is this time. And this is something I want to show you because it was really funny. What I was doing lately is I've been playing with posting times, for example, and let me get into the impressions and I'm gonna look this up and I'm gonna put list, let's say 90 days, and I'm going to share this here with you just to show you. And I told you my strategy. I mix it up. I use a lot of this, a lot of that. The only topic that's, and again, this is where everybody's got a piece of their right, and I don't have the patent on knowing everything. I just kind of analyze the algorithm based what I know from YouTube, from Facebook, from Instagram, and from searches. And I'm going to do screen share, and I will pick up this one here, and I'm going to share this with you. So, no, that's not the right one, but anyway, I will, because it switched me to the other screen, damn it. No, I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to go back to the other screen here, desktop, and I want to go here. So let me do that again. Screen share, LinkedIn, that's where we want to go. So here's my impressions over the last 90 days. And over here is when I got the most impressions in one day because it was a live show. It was 4 hours there. And I did this webinar, blah, blah, blah. So March 12th was a big day for me, 11:02. Then here I got Montezuma's Revenge. So I stopped posting. I got the least impressions, only 28 impressions that day, but I couldn't get off the bathroom. So couldn't get out of the bathroom. So nothing. So I didn't post. That was one of the days I didn't post. But then I started thinking about all this. And, if you do great events, video events, and collaborate, that's a great way to grow and beat the algorithm again because you're basically getting double audience. Every time you invite some people, you're going to get, you're both are growing. You're helping each other grow. That's why you look at Luke Matthews. He's doing something with Lara, and they both have 100,000, but they're basically growing each other, and that's why they have no issues sharing and stuff. And that's why I like to invite people, because I'll share my network with them or my knowledge through the webinar. I share my knowledge with their network, and they share their network with me. And so it's a symbiosis. And same way Instagram works, just the same way. I never got into videos on Instagram, only here, because then into videos, I used to do videos a lot back in the day, in the 90s and 2000s with promoting. I worked at a television station in Czech Republic as well, but on camera. And so I was, but I was not so quick to get on Instagram because it's not my It's not my thing. Instagram videos. But here for YouTube, I started doing that with my son, and I started doing the LinkedIn webinars a year ago. There's a whole last one season of different things where I used to speak, but I had a hard time finding people because, again, I had a dead group. Now it's so much easier to get people involved. Like I said, I have a couple of already people prepared for the next couple of weeks, and we do webinars. We share knowledge. Last week was it with Ivan. If you missed it, it was a great self-growth webinar. Look at that. But yeah, which was, I think it was right about here. That this was the day that was a promotion. Wednesday, May 8th was the day of the promotion of the webinar. The webinar did get some impressions and stuff. It changes. It changes. Depends on, I have no clue why that on last Wednesday was the best day to get impressions on that promotion webinar. And then the webinar itself does not get that many impressions. And right there you go. I mean, that was the, day before webinar, 1,000 impressions. Day of the webinar got 315 impressions that day. That doesn't mean it's not picking up impressions still, but that was that. But here what I did is I started really changing. This is in March, end of March. So all of it, I started changing posting times because, there was some growth. I'll go back. Well, you can only go back 365 days. Like you can't do a specific period of time. But yeah, this is the activity. August started growing a little bit. Then in November, and here's where I decided that to really start posting every day. So December, I started posting and grow a little bit. But yeah, you see the growth. And then it dropped with Montezuma's Revenge, and then it now keeps going up and up again this last segment, like I said, I'll go back to the 90-day one, is by me posting every day, engaging, and changing the post. People, I see this in a lot of creators. They tell you, no, you have to post every day at 8 a.m. and the first hour matters the most. No, it does not, because this is what the algorithm does. And on YouTube, this was so prevalent, and I could show you, and I'll show you some graphs as well on YouTube that we did. It doesn't matter really what time you post. It matters what you post, how good it is, and what the algorithm thinks it's going to be the best time to show. There was videos that didn't get any on YouTube. There was videos that didn't get any impressions for the first 2 days, and all of a sudden you get 5,000 views because the algorithm decided, well, now we have some empty slot and we're going to fill it with this, and I think this is the best way to get viewers. So that's the algorithm. It doesn't care about you or your product. It cares about how it can use your product for its own benefit. Your product is your donation, your content. And so here I changed it. I started posting in the afternoon. Then I started posting now at after midnight. And now I'm posting at because the algorithm for me, it changes at 7 p.m. The impressions, the day from one to the other. The impressions go from 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. in my central time. So that means Eastern time would be 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. because it's midnight Central European time for some reason. And that's where the impressions break. So I post right on the break. So just to get the full 24 hours of that post into that cycle, that's what I'm just doing, just to test it out. There's no formula. It's not the right way to do it. It's just the way I'm doing it right now to test it out. And that seems to be working very well. And it's 7 p.m. Central time, and my audience is spread across the United States. And then it's funny how sometimes I wake up in the morning, I already have 200 impressions. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I have 50 impressions. And sometimes that same post, they got 200 impressions overnight, does not do well the rest of the day. And then the other days, I have a post that will get 50 impressions in the overnight, which means for the Asian crowd, East Asian or India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. That's what I was talking about. I have some followers from there, so there's nothing wrong with that. And I have people I communicate with on personal basis because I try to always do it more personal. But yeah, it's back to live. It's weird. And then that post does 50 impressions overnight, and then I'm looking at the next day, afternoon sometimes, and I start engaging it picks up a little bit, but then all of a sudden I don't even engage at like 6 p.m. All of a sudden get 200 impressions. Why? Why do I have 200 impressions at 6 p.m. if it's 23 hours after posting? I have not been engaging for 6 hours now on LinkedIn. All I do is check the impressions, and then just the impressions start going. I'm like, thank you guys for all your advice, but just like with YouTube, the LinkedIn algorithm will do what it wants to do with your post. So, you want to be steady, you want to do this, and you want to let people know, and because the first hour matters. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because if it did, and if it was true, I would not get most impressions on a post in the last, after 23 hours of posting and 6 hours after my last engagement. It just matters what people are online at the time, because, the algorithm, who is the most studied by the algorithm? You. The algorithm doesn't really study the post, it studies people, because it wants to know what to show to who. And, it can use your posts, but only if it knows its audience. So it will know who's better equipped to, who's going to spend more time on your post. The algorithm knows that better than you. So if you're trying to beat the algorithm, don't. Stay in your niche, do your thing, and let the algorithm work for you. Let the algorithm worry about finding the audience for what you need. Then, based on what performance you get out of some topics and posts and stuff, yeah, sure, adjust it, make it better, and all good. But don't think it's a god. You don't have to be stuck at home. Oh, it's 8 p.m. I gotta do my post. I can't do this tonight because I'm posting at that time. No, sorry, that's not the way the algorithms work. And you saw the now, and the impressions are the same, and I keep changing the times. It does what it wants. So just, again, it's all about engagement, and it's all about people that follow and comment and stuff, so you mutually engage with each other. That's important, but it's not important if you do it at 7 p.m. or 8 a.m. Comment on the people's posts. They'll notice it. You'll show up more in their feed, and they'll remember to comment because they know you will comment on theirs as well. And you just got to meet the 1% of people on LinkedIn. And if you can connect with all 1%ers, so-called, the ones that are called the creators, then you're good. Let me try to find the YouTube analytics here. I wanted to find the playlist, but anyway, content, audience, search, subtitles, because I want to show you how YouTube works. And I gotta go into the playlist content here. Let me go to share screen here so you can see it. So that's going to be the last one that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna hold up. I said it's gonna be somewhere between an hour and a half. I usually do so. To show you how me and my son have been battling the YouTube algorithm. I'll share my screen here on our content YouTube studio here. Yep. And also share tab audio. I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me, but yeah. I think so, because I did this before. Let's go to playlists. And let's go to our top 10, because that's the best one I'm going to show. And then I'll show you some fails. My top 10 video chart. Here's my top 10 videos. Apple charges... why Apple charges $129 for a USB-C cable. That got 66,000 views and 209 comments. So likes and comments matter. They don't matter in the first hour, because even YouTube, if you look at, let me see if I get into the video or statistics. Here we have analytics. And the video has not been getting many views lately, but still in the last 48 hours, it got 11. But if I don't, I could do it, but I'm not going to hold up the time trying to figure out and then getting to the right ones and estimating the date. I mean, since is it like first? I guess I could do first 24 hours. That's not enough. Can you do first 7? I'm not sure. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to know. But here's the key thing I want to show is some of the key things anyway. The average percent viewed, 89.9. That means it's a 39-second video, and the algorithm got 90% of viewership. So 90% of 39 is 33 for about 34 seconds. So the algorithm knows it's going to get 34 seconds out of every viewer. So hey, why not? So it knows what it can get and its audience retention. Now, if we go into detailed activity, what is that going to do? I use this in a mobile. It's so hard to do it here. Stop watching. Anyway, so let me get out of this one. And so this is the highest one. And the thing, the key indicators in YouTube is this is what it wants the most. 20.5 hours of watch time. So that's just in the first, we're still in the 24 hours. So if we do since published, it's 649 hours. That's why I didn't have the big statistics on that. But anyway, 649 hours. It looks at that's what it is. That's where YouTube evaluates everything. How many hours of watch time can I get out of people? And now you looking at this 89% is you're gonna get on YouTube statistics, and YouTube is great because it has awesome statistics, detailed. LinkedIn does not provide as many statistics. But again, thinking and knowing that all the platforms work the same, I learned a lot about LinkedIn by doing YouTube. And this thing is the 89.9% viewed matters a lot because of the 649 hours. And now if you're going to have, let's say you're going to make a video that's going to be only 40% viewed. If the 40% is actually a benchmark for YouTube, is if you don't get to 40%, they're not going to show you a video. Because why? Because all they're getting is on a 40-second video, if they show it to somebody, all they're going to get is 40% of 40 seconds, let's say. So 40% of 40 seconds is what? 16 seconds? So 4 times 4 is 16. So why would they show you a video if they can only get 16 seconds? They'd rather show a video that has 30 seconds and 90% viewed because they're going to get 27 seconds of watch time from that video. So this is how that is considered. This is the same way LinkedIn considers. Trust me, it is the same way LinkedIn considers your content. How much people do spend time on it? How many people like it? How many people comment? That's important. And YouTube also counts the subscribers. Like this video got like huge subscribers. I think it's got this video in and of itself got like 60 subscribers or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so average view duration 35 seconds. They got out of a 40. So if you're competing with videos, you make a video, people don't last. That's why I think Laura Acosta was saying today that people don't have short attention span. They just have short attention span for crap content. And so this is the perfect way to show if your video is good or not, is 89% view rate. And if it was a lot of this, I'll show you some bad videos, and and then you have to make a broad enough topic. This topic has really touched a lot of people, so it sparked a conversation. It also got a lot of dislikes, but even a dislike is a like. And unless there would be like a 90% dislike rate, like here would be a likes only 10%, then that video would not do so well. Every comment gets you another boost in that here in the wave here. It was like here people started commenting, so it started growing sharply, then it flattened out. and you have the watch hours is 323, and then all of a sudden again in a couple of days it went to 400 hours, and and that's why this path has been sort of up and down, and then it just for some reason YouTube has this. I figured that would keep going, but for some reason towards the end maybe the viewership started dropping. The average still kept up to 90%, but out of 66,000, but if the last 10,000 people that saw it only viewed it for 60%, then the video, or 40%, then the video stopped being interesting for the algorithm and it dropped it. And there's nothing I can do to have that, because to extend that, because competition has gotten bigger. And maybe a lot of creators saw our video and said, well, I'm going to make a better video on this. Is their video better or not? Well, the algorithm will decide. And so, stressing is to the extreme, and this is no, try to get your metrics into the 90%, and try to get the viewership to 40%. I mean, above 40%. And so this is our best video that we did, yes. But let's see some bad one. And then there's videos they got only 6 comments. For example, here, Willy Wonka sucks. That was in February 29th. Got only 6 comments, but still, it's the likes are pretty high in all of them, so that's a good thing. And just to show the number 10 video right now on our watch list, and show the analytics, how it compares, why it didn't get that much, because the average percentage viewed is only 68.7%. That's not enough. There was something in a video where we have to get, and it was the same length, but less people decided to watch it till the end. It became boring, not high quality enough content. Does that make you a bad person? No, it just makes you somebody who needs to improve. My son is always like, "Oh, I don't know why this is not working." I'm like, "Because you suck." You sucked in this video. You know how to do a video of 66,000 views. So focus on that. Focus on what you did right there. So it's interesting how again, it was a sharp growth, boom, 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 a lot of engagement, a lot of likes, and then it didn't find an audience for it. So the growth was a little bit different. Let's get into some crappy videos. So this is the top. So that's just to show how you break down the algorithm. I wish LinkedIn, and I would beg LinkedIn here to sort of give us the more detailed statistics like YouTube, because that would definitely make it more fun and give and stuff. And let me see. And then we have videos here that was not liked at all. And then I want to try to find a video that still puzzled me to this day, and I forget which one it is. But anyway, you look at the analytics here. OpenAI stealing. Was OpenAI, YouTube stealing? YouTube is being hurt, so you think, well, maybe YouTube. No, YouTube doesn't care. They got 78% viewed of the length, whoever watched it. But the problem is what's the percentage of people that watch it also is, which is, I'm not sure if I got into that one. We're just watching 75. How many chose to view? 75%. So 70, this, I didn't see this on that one. Let's see. Well, I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna. This is the one that I was looking for here. And like I said, I never use this interface here in the browser. But this is the source. Channel pages. 43% went from channel pages. Shorts feed. You never got into the shorts feed that much because the algorithm doesn't like something. There's also stop words and stuff like that. But portion of your total traffic. Let's see. I'm gonna try to lose the reach. Okay, I'm gonna try to get back to one video, and this is on topic of the hooks. The 75% is topic for the hooks. I'm gonna go back to the playlists, and I'm gonna go back to my top 10. Analytics. Reach. Nope. Oh, that's the playlist. That's not the video. Let's see. Here, video. That's why it also is different. Kind of got me confused. But it 66,000 because why Apple charges 129 is that's about the length you see on most screens of the title. So considering YouTube is in the mobile category more heavily, then here is the how many people chose to view, and it's 67, 60, almost 68%. So that means after reading the hook, which you see actually right here, why Apple charges 129. Well, this is why people click, because this is about what they see. Why Apple charges 129, so people are interested. So we made 68% of people that it was displayed to click on that. And if you don't get this click rate to at least 40%, your video is dead on arrival. And with the length of viewership, it's 50%. And a lot of times, some of the videos get only 20, 30% viewership. So that one is like dead right away. It's because why should YouTube show something that people are only interested in the first 3 seconds of? And then right after that, they click away. That's the importance of a hook. That's where the complexity says, well, you have to write great hooks. Yes, but even the best hook of all will not get you 80% retention rate on the video because it's just a hook. Once that hook, and actually my son got to learn that a couple of times because he wrote a great hook and then people swiped away right away because he started talking about something else. I says, no, the hook has to be related to what you're doing there. So let's get back to the worst video. I think I could content. No, playlist, shorts. And like I said, some of them are still a puzzle to me, but this one only got 23 views. Musk caught selling your data. The feds might have demanded. Again, once you talk about police, they're not really gonna try to push that because it could be a controversial topic. The end of TikTok is near, only 12. Okay, let's look at that. End of TikTok is near. We did that video. And what are the statistics? Let's look at the analytics. Got 12 views, which is 418 less than usual. Why did it get only 12 views? And the average percentage viewed is 120, which on 12 is a skewed statistic. But here is the key. How many people chose to view? 50% out of just a couple. But I think this video might have like a stop word in it to stop something because it was no engagement. They only got, small time. So this one might be a problem with content, which it didn't like. So, YouTube didn't want to get involved in showing too much of TikTok arguments because it's a direct competition, so they may have some reasons for best image generator analytics. 78% viewed, reach. How many swiped away? Here, there you go. That's perfect. So this video only has the best image generator. The question over here, you see that? So that's what most people see, like I said, on their phones. And surprise, only 23% people decided to view this. So, hey, they clicked, but only 23%. That means if they show it to 5,000 people, they can expect about 1,000 people to view it, to look at it, 1,200, something like that. They're not interested. They're not going to use this. YouTube has lots of content. Why are they going to use something that only 23% people chose? It doesn't make you a bad person. You just produced crap for whatever reason. Competition is big. Move on. All right, it didn't work. But was it because of the posting time? Was it because of something that was wrong with it? Was it something because, Boring hook, boring intro to the video. People swiped away very quickly, and YouTube just takes that content, throws it out, puts it on the back shelf. It may actually, sometimes there's videos that get boosted 6 months later. It's like YouTube says, "Oh, I don't have anything to show. This one didn't do all that bad. It was to a different audience. Now I have this audience available. Let me show it." So that's why in one of my posts last week, I said, you just donate your content to the algorithm, let it worry about it. Stick to a topic and engage. That's one thing that we don't really do on YouTube. We don't engage with other creators, yet we're able to get like close to 600 followers in a year. But yeah, so this is our struggle with algorithms, my personal one as well, because my son's the creator, but I sort of focus on the topics, and I pick the topics and I kind of try to help with the hooks. He's got to do the work with the visuals and the recording. I did record a couple of videos, but I'm not. I can't do everything. So YouTube is his. And let me get out of this completely. And here I am back at the screen. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, we've gotten through a lot of statistics. Hopefully that helps. I mean, I wasn't going to tell you the secret to how to get to page 1 of Google in 2 days, because that doesn't work. And I hope that experience that I shared and some of the numbers that you've been able to see help you understand that struggle with the algorithm is real, but it's nothing personal. Algorithm only is trying to make money for its creator, for its owner, and there's nothing you can do. Just be the best yourself and try to get competition. Try to outwork the competition. That's where it's at. Outworking your competition in engagement, in posts, in everything. I mean, just always self-improvement. And last week we did a webinar on how to be happier through self-improvement. Well, the struggle with algorithm is all about self-improvement in a specific field. Be knowledgeable, be authentic, and talk to people, and get people to come and like your stuff and do stuff that's interesting to people, and stay in your niche, and that's it. I mean, I could just repeat this over and over and over again, but been here an hour and 20 minutes, close to it anyway, hour and 18 or something like that. So I think that's it for me for today. And next week, we have agreed with Catherine to talk about, I'm going to do a little promo here because she's been traveling the world and so have I. And we want to talk about some 2024 strategies for travel and network. And I've seen about 27 or 30 cities over the last year in the U.S. Over the years, I've traveled all throughout Europe, and she's from Philippines and currently living in Sweden. And yeah, traveling and staying in touch with people, networking and building businesses online has been fun, entertaining, and it's changing because of AI and because of different tools that are available. It's becoming easier to reach out and to grow your audiences. But yeah, it's all as part of digital marketing, and that's what I talk about. And then you have to find ways to beat the algorithm that I've been looking for 18 years, and I've discovered that everything that I shared with you today, basically. So yeah, thank you for your attention and for your time. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Even send me a DM, and I'll try to answer them best as possible. And I can try to help you analyze your efforts and what works and what doesn't, what could work. Because like I said, again, I love analyzing. I'm an analyst by heart. So have a great day. Happy Thursday.